Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning and welcome to Story Time. Thank you for joining in. Happy Thursday to you, April 1st. We're already in April. Oh my goodness. Good morning to you and welcome. Thank you for joining in. Please remind me where you are, and of course, let me know who is joining in with you. And of course, if you're here alone, you're still welcome. Storytime is for everybody, the young and the young at heart. Good morning to you and welcome to Storytime. And we are excited today. I can feel it. I know you're excited too. We have the amazing Shawn Harris with us today. So please get ready, get your materials ready, pencils, colored pencils, anything that you can find around your table, around the house, bring it, because we will be using that, making our art today. Shawn Harris will be leading that for us. So thank you for joining in, and you are very welcome today. Good morning to you. And of course, we're reading a beautiful book, a wonderful book indeed, perfect for spring. Have you ever seen a flower? And this one is written and illustrated by Shawn Harris. Multi-talented indeed. We'll welcome him to the show very soon. Thank you for joining in Storytime today. Welcome wherever you're joining in from. I am glad you are here. Good morning to you. Or is it good afternoon? Or even good evening, depending on where you're joining us in the world, where you're joining us from in the world. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, we saw March go by, and that was, of course, we're also remembering that it was Women's History Month, and we got to look at some amazing books. But we continue on, and we're reading more books today. And remember, every day should be Women's History Month. We should be commemorating and showing respect all the time. So thank you for joining in, and please welcome to Storytime. Thank you for joining me today, and let us see who is with us this morning, ready to enjoy, ready to make art, ready to listen to a beautiful story. Welcome to Storytime. Madalena Iron in San Francisco, good morning to you. Thank you for joining in, and of course, not forgetting the amazing Tudor. Good morning to you. How are you doing today? In San Francisco, Madalena Iron and Tudor, welcome to Storytime. And good morning to you, Chriselle, out in BC, Long Beach, California. Good morning to you, Clay, Rocco, Grandpa June. I am so glad when you join in Storytime. Good to see you always. Thank you for being here. Rocco, I'm glad too that your class allows you to be here today. So thank you for joining in. Rocco, Clay, Grandpa June, and Chriselle of Chriselle Bell. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm glad you're here with me today. And of course, as you know, we're joined by the amazing Shawn Harris. So please stick around after the reading and join in the artwork that will be happening. Thank you so much. Vundukai in Baltimore, how are you doing today? Good morning to you. And Noktula Nakai, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us today. Glad you're here. Vundukai, I will be giving you a shout very soon, my brother. Good to see you here. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed your days off. Good morning to you. And Amanda Waltman, good morning to you. How are you doing today? Baby Bia, not forgetting you, sweetheart. And Merlin, how are you doing? Merlin, how are you doing? I will get it one day, I promise. Thank you for joining in Story Time. And Amanda, Bia, and Merlin, I really appreciate the effort in trying to get me to say the name correctly. I will practice some more. Thank you so much. And you say you're excited about today's reading. Well, you and me both, I am excited. And of course, we have the amazing author right here with us for art later on. So thank you for joining in. Baby Bia, good morning to you. Bundakai, one more time, good morning. Amanda, West, Sarah, and Nathan out in Illinois, and you're saying it is frigid Illinois today. Well, we hope we bring you the sunshine. We hope we bring you the spring with Have You Ever Seen a Flower? So many things happening here today, but of course we start with a beautiful book. I'll be getting started with that one very soon. Thank you for joining in, Sarah and Nathan, and of course Amanda West. And you say both say they are excited to see the famous Oakland YMCA racquetball champion Shawn Harris. I think Mark Barnett will have a say about that. Good morning to you. Awesome. Love it. Stephen Maldonado, how are you doing today? Thank you so much. Oh, absolutely. And you say this is a nice intro song. Well, it is done by a very good friend of mine, the Soapbox Salute, Tim Dixon from right here in Oakland. He's an educator too. Thank you. I will definitely pass on the word. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Good morning to you, Stephen Maldonado. Thank you for joining us. Good morning to you, Chris and Mitchell. Thank you for joining in. And of course, Borden, how are you doing today from Burlington, Vermont? Good morning to you. And you're excited for story time. Oh, we all are today. We all are. Thank you so much for joining in and sharing that. Tori Gambo and Liana in sunny Bothell, Washington. Well, enjoy your sunshine today. Thank you so much for sharing a slice of that with us on Storytime today. Definitely enjoy having you here. Noah, what's up, brother? How are you doing? Good to see you. And of course, Abrima, you, good morning to you. Thank you. And Lucy, I hope you're doing well too. Thank you so much. I miss you guys. I hope to see you very soon. Thank you so much for joining in. And Paul Maldonado, you're saying you're joining in with Baby Maven. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining in, Baby Maven. And it sounds like the first time joining in. Well, welcome to Storytime. Welcome to the Storytime community, and I hope that this is not the last time we get to see you on Storytime. Thank you for being here and joining in. But very soon we're getting started with our book, and of course later on we get to see who else was with us. But the star of the show today, Shawn Harris, will be here doing amazing art with all of you. So please gather your materials, get ready for that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and read the story. It is Shawn Harris' debut author illustration book. He did everything himself, just like you kids out there. He drew the pictures and wrote the words to this one. So enjoy it. And of course, we're reading it with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Not the first time you've heard me say that, and definitely not the last. It has been a great support indeed. Thank you, Eva Zimmerman. I cannot praise you enough. Thank you so much for being here for Storytime all the time. Well, here we go. Have You Ever Seen a Flower? Written and illustrated by Shawn Harris. All right. It has the coolest pictures. I'll let you soak that in for a minute. I'll just take my sleeve off for a second. Have You Ever Seen a Flower? Written and illustrated by Shawn Harris and read with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. And who's that at the corner? Is that how your city looks like? I know Bothell is sunny today. Have you ever seen a flower? That is the question. I mean, really. Really seen a flower. I want to play in a field like that too. I mean, way down in the clover, with your face down in a flower. Have you? Have you ever seen a flower using nothing but your nose? How do you do that? Well, breathe deep. Try it. What do you see? Raindrops made of honey? The knees of bumblebees? A fancy lady? Dancing babies at the Royal Jelly Jubilee? What do you see? Oh, so beautiful. Have you ever seen a flower so deep you had to shout, "Hello!" and listen for an echo just to know how deep it goes? Have you? Oh. And did you wonder, if you wander down between its golden columns and into its corridors, who you might meet? Have you ever wondered? Maybe a tiny queen. She doesn't look so tiny, does she? Mighty, mighty queen. Have you ever felt a flower? Do a flower petal's veins feel like the veins beneath your skin? Have you ever pricked your finger? Ouch. Or fallen on your knee? As we're back at playgrounds, we'll be seeing that quite a bit. And seeing the brilliant color of life. Have you? Life is inside you. Oh, you'll be okay. And life is all around you. And there's our little friend. Sorry for covering you up. Now put your hands on your belly and say, "This is my stem. This is my stem." How does that feel? Now sip a drip of water and stand very still. Feel it slip and trickle all the way down to your roots. Stand on both feet. Do you feel yourself growing? Do you feel yourself stretching toward the sun? Ready to burst. Stretch. Reach for that sun. And bloom. Oh, how did that feel? Have you ever been a flower? I mean, really been a flower. And if you were, would you remember? Try and see. Please repeat what was done in the book. Reach out. Look at those amazing colors. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. And I took off the sleeve and there's a beautiful picture again inside. And it's, have you ever seen a flower? And like Shawn Harris says, have you seen it? So thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. That was the beautiful story we had for you from amazing author, illustrator, Shawn Harris. And as you can tell, it just left me calm. A certain feeling of calm and just goodness is within me right now. Thank you so much for joining in. And I will not waste any more time. I will bring on the amazing Shawn Harris. And if you're here with us, I will try to see you and say hi later on. But right now, please get your pencils ready and join in conversation. If you have questions for this amazing person, please do type them, do send them in, and we'll try and answer some of them. Not all of them, but we'll get to some of them. And also just get ready and enjoy the art with him. At this point in time, I'm calling upon the amazing, multi-talented Shawn Harris, and many books. That name will sound familiar. I know you know him, and he is here with us today. What a special honor for Story Time today. Welcome to the show, Shawn Harris.
Mr. LaMotta. Hi, everybody. Mr. LaMotta, that was so cool to hear you read my new book. It doesn't come out until May, and so I actually haven't heard anybody read that aloud yet. This is the debut of the read aloud here on Storytime with Mr. LaMotta. That was so cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that feels good. That just it's amazing. It just has that calm. What was the inspiration? It's just so amazing.
Well, I needed a reminder myself to take off my shoes and take off my socks and go and stand in some grass or some dirt or some sand and just look around me and listen and smell and talk to nature.
It is
so
a great...
I wrote the book to remind myself, and maybe some other people like to have that sort of a reminder.
Oh, so, it is certainly a reminder for me right now. As I was going through this book, ever since it arrived, I've just been like, oh my goodness. It is like, even just the question itself, have you ever seen a flower? We all see flowers, but have you really? Which was a question that just got me going. And I was like, yeah, have I really? And yeah, definitely a something that got me thinking. And thank you for sharing that too. But you've worked in the past with amazing, people. You've brought us books like this one with your good friend.
Yeah.
And then you also brought us this one. So people are familiar with you. But how does it feel to do Have You Ever Seen a Flower?
To make a book by myself?
Right.
To be honest, until I'm here with all of you, it sort of felt like I was talking to myself. So I felt a little bit crazy, but now that it's out in the world, it can be a conversation that we have with friends, and I get to read it aloud and hear it read aloud. And now I'm less lonely than when I work with friends.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Yeah. No, it's a great book. And how long have you been working on it?
I worked on, it's hard. It's really hard to say because I had the idea for the book years ago, but then I had to do a lot of experimentation and figure out what style I wanted to draw it with, because this is also, aside from being the first book that I wrote and illustrated, it's the first book that I ever made with colored pencils. And I knew I wanted to make a book with colored pencils, but it took me a long time to find my style.
Yeah.
And actually today with you guys, I'm going to show you some of my tricks that I developed to make the art in this book. You'll notice it looks a little different than maybe some other work you've seen with colored pencils, and I'll show you why.
No,
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, no, this is, and it's just the right, like everything. The colors are so vibrant. I promise you, find it at your local library when it's out. Pre-order, find it, and the pictures are not doing it justice. Like seeing it in the flesh, seeing it in real life like this it's just so amazing. But
I had a secret tool on this book. I used a neon pink pencil, and you can really see the neon pink when you hold the book in front of your face. And I'll tell you why I use the neon pink. The neon pink is actually activated by the sun. It gets super bright by the sun. So when you're holding this book in your house, it actually looks better and better the closer you get to a window. So I wanted the book to draw you towards the window. And then once you get to the window, you're like, well, I might as well go out the door. This book is meant to be read with your feet in the grass. I can't wait to do story times myself, where we take a little field trip down the front steps and into the yard and find a little dandelion or blade of grass. Gather around it and read the book in the sunshine.
That sounds amazing. No, absolutely. And hopefully, please share that when you do it. But also, like, what do you have for the young artists out there? You know, because you're talking about using tools that kids use every day in the classroom or use every day at home. So how do you turn using seemingly everyday simple tools into magic like this?
I've got some stuff laying around my desk, and you at home might have some stuff laying around your desk too, or your kitchen table even. I've got a spoon here that I stirred my coffee with this morning. There's a roll of tape. Here's an eraser. There's just stuff laying around my desk, and I use this stuff as stencils. Anybody heard of a stencil before? You guys know what stencils do? I will show you. Check this out. Come on down to my drawing studio, Mr.
All
Lamada,
right,
and everybody else.
I will still be able to share, but let's just
continue our conversation. Mr. Lamada, I'm gonna just start. I've got a colored pencil right here. I'm just gonna start by making a mark. Oh no! I planned so much for this show, and I broke the colored pencil. Mr. Lamada, I can't do art now. My pencil is broken. I'm so sorry, everyone. We were gonna do a great art time, drawing time. I'm so sorry. Well, it's been great being on your show, Mr. Lamada. Thank you for having me. Thank you for reading the book. I'm so sorry we couldn't draw today, everyone. I was going to show you about stencils, but look at this. What do we do?
What can we do to help?
Sorry. All right. Well, thank you. April Fools! April Fools! It's April 1st. I have way more colored pencils. Don't even worry. Okay, back to the... I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Poor Shawn, you had us sweating there for a minute. What's going on?
All right, here we go. Let's talk about stencils. The first thing I'm going to use, I don't know what you have laying around your desk at home. Mr. Lamada, if you can see the comments, you can maybe tell me what people have on their desks at home. If you guys want to tell us what's laying around your desk that you might use as a stencil. I'm going to use this roll of tape first, okay? So, what I'm going to do, there's a nice circle in the middle of this roll of tape, right? So I'm going to take a color, and I'm just going to hold down this roll of tape while I sort of scribble inside this shape. It doesn't look like I'm being very intentional about what I'm drawing here, right? It looks like I'm kind of making a mess inside of this roll of tape. Still holding down this roll of tape, and I'm taking a second color. I've got a bit of a red here. And I'm just going to make some lines through it. I'm going to draw from the bottom of the roll of tape to the top of the roll of tape. Trying to hold it down. It might move on me a little bit, but that's okay. It's my second color. I'm going to take a third color. I'm going to take a little bit of a yellow here, and I'm just going to sort of scribble in this roll of tape. Wow. Shawn Harris, you're making a mess. It doesn't look like you're making much of art, does it? Now watch what happens, everyone, when I remove our
Steven says he has a burrito.
All right, plop that burrito down on your piece of paper. You can scribble around a burrito, Steven. All right, here we go. I'm going to remove this piece of tape. Watch, this is the magic, everyone. This is what we're here for.
Whoa. Whoa.
Isn't that cool? That's what stencils can do. They help you control the edges so you don't have to be so delicate with your lines. You don't have to have so much intentionality. You can kind of just follow the shape of the tools around you. Here I'm using the side of my pencil a little bit to make a bit of a stem. Look at this. We've got a bit of a flower. I've got some scrap paper here. This can be used as a stencil too. Let's find out how. I'm going to put the scrap paper around, just put it across the bottom of this stem right here, and I'm going to make two bowls. I'm going to make a bowl right here. I'm going to go ahead and color that bowl in. I'm going to make a bowl right here. This is kind of cereal bowls. What's your favorite kind of cereal, Mr. LaMotta?
Oh, yeah. Oh, what would be my favorite? I think I just like the cornflakes. Actually, yeah, like I would go with just straight
up cornflakes.
Cornflakes is
yeah. I go, Mr.
How about you?
I go Raisin Bran, but I've got to be honest, my favorite cereal is Lucky Charms, but I only have Lucky Charms every year on my birthday because I know they're not super healthy for me. But on my birthday, I eat Lucky Charms.
But what if you're like me and you have multiple birthdays?
Ooh, well, I mean, I need to figure that out. So, Mr. LaMotta, I'm going to make my second flower here. I got a quarter. I had a quarter on my desk.
Right.
I know. Don't be jealous of my riches. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take this quarter. I'm holding down this quarter, and I'm just going to sort of scribble around this quarter. Again, Shawn Harris, that looks a little bit messy. I know what you're thinking, everyone. I'm going to scribble around this quarter, and then watch what happens when I remove the quarter.
Oh, whoa.
Stencils, everyone. Isn't that cool? Okay, I'm going to take this yellow, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to fill in. I'm just going to make a scribbly circle inside of that stencil shape right there. Isn't this looking cool? Aren't stencils neat? All right, what else can I use? I'm gonna make some leaves for this one that we just drew here. So I'm gonna take my blue. You'll notice here, I'm not using green yet. I'll tell you why. I've got a bit of a what are these things called? The things that you put on your nose when something smells. Clothespin. I mean, you hang clothes on a line.
Yeah, clothespin.
That's right. Mr. LaMotta, I tried to put a clothespin on my nose the other day. My nose is too big. It didn't fit. I think I need to get the extra large clothespins if I need to avoid any smells. So look at this. We used this clothespin shape right here to make a couple spines over here. What do you have on your desk? What's on your desk at home, everybody?
Yeah, I see Madelina Iron and Tudor say they have a roll of paper.
Look what we can do with some paper. I've got some scrap paper right here.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a stencil, and I'm not even going to use scissors right now because I don't know if you have scissors on your desk. I'm going to just tear a couple shapes out of this scrap paper I have right here. Maybe mine has a drawing on the back of it, but maybe yours has some telephone numbers that you jotted down, that your mom jotted down that she doesn't need anymore. I don't know what the scrap paper in your house looks like, but maybe there is some. You can go ahead and use that scrap paper, tear out a couple shapes, and let's see what happens when we use this as a stencil. You'll notice I'm overlapping the shapes that I drew over here. I like to do that when I draw flowers because when you look out the window, when you go stand in nature, you see everything is kind of connected. You'll see flowers growing out of grass, which are growing out of dirt, which are, and you dig down in the dirt and you find rocks and fossils. And so I like when I draw natural things, I like for everything to kind of get all bunched up and close to each other. That's the cool thing about taking off our shoes and socks out there, and is that we actually get connected to all of the nature around us when we get the soles of our shoes out of the way, and you can kind of get an idea of what it feels like to be growing along with everything else out there, right? So
And I like the way
sorry, go ahead.
you did the, because with the quarter,
Mm-hmm.
the space was left in the middle. You went with the outside of the quarter, but then we got
That's right.
the outside space sort of, but and then it ended up being the inside, and you cut it. And then the other one that with the roll of tape, we went with the inside bit of it. So
many surprises, right?
oh yeah.
Watch this one. This one's gonna be cool too. So I just took that stencil that we did right here that we
Right.
tore out. I'm gonna flip that the other way until it lines up and makes a symmetrical shape, which means the same shape we just saw, but flipped the other direction. And watch what happens when I fill in this side of the stencil. If our stencil moves a little bit, that's okay. That's just a surprise. There's all kinds of surprises that happen when we make art. And you know what? Like, I'll tell you a secret, Mr. LaMotta. I actually like drawing and making art because I actually don't see pictures in my head.
Oh.
So I'll have an idea of some tools that I think would be cool to experiment with, but I don't actually imagine what my drawings are going to look like until I start making them. So making my drawings is what enables me to see what my ideas might look like. I don't know. I know that some people say like, oh, I picture what I want to do and then I do it, but that's not how it works for me. I don't know if it works the same for you.
Have you seen my art?
I haven't. Are you drawing along with us right now?
Not right now, but
right now. Oh, okay.
My kids in the class, I was like, no, Mr. Matt, you cannot draw. I need to change my thinking. I need not to see.
Maybe you need to get used to the surprises, that happen. So I freehanded this one on top here over the top of our stencil like that. You see? Okay, so I decided that I want to do one more thing here. I'm gonna just continue with this clothespin design because I think it would be cool to no pun intended, close shape right here.
I wonder how Steven is doing with his burrito. Please, Steven, if you've done something with that burrito, send us a picture.
Oh, there are going to be so many surprises because like the beans and the pico de gallo are going to add some colors and flavors. Oh man. Look at the last thing I want to do. I see there's a pop of red up here, so I actually just want to freehand a few little berries and flowers down here. One last thing I want to show you here. You'll notice I didn't use any green. When you go outside, there's a lot of green in nature, right? Look what happens. This is my secret weapon. This is in the book. I actually didn't use any green colored pencils either, but you saw lots of green, right?
No ways.
I used blues, shades of blues like you're seeing right here, and then you get this magic development trick. This is my big tip to you colored pencils artists out there. I've got my yellow pencils. Everybody have their yellow pencil and some blue on their drawings out there. Look what happens when we take the yellow and start coloring over our blues.
Wow.
Look at this. Look at this. It's like developing a photograph right in front of our eyes, right? Look at that. We can be so sloppy and it still looks so cool. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, wow. Look at this photo. All the colors just developing, the yellow bringing out the sunshine, just beating down on our drawing. Look at this. Look at this. There we go. Boom. Everybody.
Wow.
These flowers grew out of our colored pencils and our fingers and our senses and our minds. How cool was that?
Wow. That is amazing. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I hope everybody out there is drawing and following along, but that was amazing.
What shapes are the things on your desk going to make? We didn't even make a flower with a spoon. Imagine the flower we could have made with a spoon. Wow.
Yeah.
Flowers growing out of everything, out of spoons, out of clothespins.
So had you always drawn, or like how did you know that this was the thing for you?
Yeah, I always liked drawing. I always liked drawing. And I always liked reading, and And I loved books with pictures, and then books without pictures. I loved trying to draw the characters from those books.
Yeah. No, we have
And,
this is like a mini gallery right here. Lots of, lot of paintings in this. Is amazing. But
Thank you.
yeah, but how did you then come up with your style? Because your style is very distinct. Like you look at whatever pictures you've done, or even the one that I shared at the beginning of this, if you saw that was done by Shawn Harris. So
Yes.
like, how did you finally like shape your style or frame your style? How, like, I don't even know the word to use for it. Like, how did you?
That's a really good question. I'm glad you brought up the portrait that I did of you. I made that portrait of you with pieces of cut paper. And so I cut them out and I glued them together. That style is called collage, right? So actually part of why I started using stencils with my colored pencils was because using these stencils is also a form of, multimedia collage. I get these shapes that you get when you cut things out of paper. And so when I combined that style with the pencils, it started to feel like my work,
Yeah.
I started to get the sense of, oh yeah, that's what my work looks like. And that's why when you use a new medium, you've got to play with it for a while before you figure out how you use it, because the way that you make art with colored pencils is going to be a little different than the way Shawn Harris does or Genevieve Godbout does. Like everyone, your style is going to be signature to you, but it starts by learning the tricks that you see other people doing and trying to copy their style, and eventually you find your own style.
Huh. Yeah. Which brings me then, Chriselle here in Long Beach is saying, like Eric Carle. So how does it feel for you when you're compared to greats like that, or like, as you're developing your style too, but like how
I mean, Eric Carle was a huge reason why I wanted to start playing with cut paper. And my style did end up looking different than Eric Carle. Eric Carle uses a lot of overlapping textures and paints on the colors and shapes that he cuts out. And so I just started using just totally plain paper, making it very blocky and bright and colorful. But of course, when I started out, I tried to make it look exactly like Eric Carle, because that's how you learn, by emulating the art that you like, and then you find your style. So never feel bad for tracing something or copying somebody's art, to get started and figure out how to do drawings that appeal to you. When you see art that you like, then oh, that's a road that I want to start traveling down. Right.
Wow. And this one is not related to your work, but racquetball has come up. Amanda brought up racquetball. So who is the champion? What is it?
Mr. LaMotta, one year ago, almost 1 year ago to the day, I played Mac Barnett at racquetball at the Oakland YMCA for the last time since we've been in our houses sheltering and making sure everybody is as safe as can possibly be with masks. Racquetball, for anybody that doesn't know, is kind of like tennis but indoors, and it's like tiny tennis, but not ping pong, because that's kind of tiny tennis. It's like you play it in a space about the size of it's like a square room. You're in a square room. There's 4 walls, a ceiling, and a floor, and you just smash a ball against the wall. It goes really fast. You all the walls are like painted white, and you sort of lose your space and your orientation, and sometimes you just run right into a wall when you're going for the ball. It's really, really fun game, but it's indoors in a small space, so it is not safe for these COVID times.
Yeah, I grew up watching squat. How is that different?
I think it's very similar. To be honest, I might be playing racquetball with a squash racket. I'm not sure how to tell.
Yeah.
But we play. Me and Mac Barnett play racquetball every week at the Oakland YMCA. We have a match, and it just so happens that the very last time we played a year ago indoors, I beat Mac Barnett. So
You're having a good run.
I'm having the best as the racquetball king of the Oakland YMCA. It used to go back and forth, and the crown would change hands week by week. But for 1 year, everyone, undisputed champion of racquetball at the Oakland YMCA.
Oh, Mark, we feel for you. Oh my goodness, yeah. But Shawn, what do you have? What what wisdom do you have for the kids out there? Those looking at you and looking at your material and just being like, I want to be like this guy.
Well, pretty much everything that I learned about art, I learned from being a kid, and now that I get to go and read my books to kids and draw with kids, I learned so much from drawing with kids. You guys are so close to the source of creativity. Everything that all of these techniques and tools that I have that actually might put me farther from the core of what makes art great. So when you pick up that pencil and you just start drawing, you start coloring, you start making these things, all the ideas and tricks, there is nothing that you can do that is possibly wrong. It's all experimentation and art and expression. And I learned all of my good tricks from watching kids draw with me. So I'm really lucky to be able to make books for kids and draw with kids.
Yeah. And also, I know I've said this word multi-talented, and I know, it's not an empty word. You are multi-talented. And so I know there's other things that you've done too. Could you want to share those?
Well, me and my oldest friend and racquetball enemy, Mac Barnett, we made a cartoon. It is called The First Cat in Space Ate Pizza. It's also on YouTube, where maybe some of you are watching this show. So you can go ahead and search that. It's a 12-part cartoon that me and Mac made over Zoom when we couldn't see each other for the last year. We started making weekly cartoons, and actually we are now adapting that cartoon into not one book, but 2 books that are going to come out. The first one comes out a year from now, and the second one comes out a year after that. They're going to be graphic novels, 300-page graphic novels. These are the longest illustrated books that I've ever made.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
That sounds amazing.
Here's a drawing from one world premiere. Here's a drawing of the first cat in space walking.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. And then music. I've heard music too.
Yes, we made an album. The First Cat in Space is also an album. If you go to thefirstcatinspace.com, you can there's links to listen to our music. I made Mac Barnett into a musician on the album and wrote lyrics. Of course, he's an author. He's going to write amazing lyrics.
Amazing lyrics,
fun
right?
To make an album with my oldest friend. Yeah.
No, so, it's been great, honestly. Just watching, just following what you do, and also what Mark does. And I feel like we can't talk about you without mentioning Mark now. So
that's right. I've been in his shadow since we were kids. Actually, we were kind of both in the shadows. We met playing on the same soccer team when we were 7 years old. Actually, check this out. It's funny. Just how it was laying here. This is me and Mac Barnett when we were 7 years old. Just the short shorts. They were very in style at the time. They're actually back in style, everyone. So if you're laughing at my short shorts, just wait till summer. There's gonna be some short shorts out there. So.
Yeah, it's like some Franz Beckenbauer or something.
That's right. Yeah, but we were no good at soccer, so we had to move on to writing and illustrating.
Well, you're amazing at what you do. I absolutely love it, and I think it's been an honor having you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for reading the book. The honor was felt this way as well. It's so cool to hear the debut from Mr. Lamada of
Yes,
the book. That was
yes.
so cool.
Oh my goodness. Please look out for this book. Check it out at your local library once it's out. And of course, yes, those beautiful flowers that were made today. I hope you were doing something at home too, followed along, and you've learned, just like I think Madalena Iron was saying, thank you for the great tips. I think that's what we want to leave with here, like people gaining that, being armed with a tool that you can use to create amazing stuff. But yeah, Shawn, it has been such an honor having you here. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today.
Thank you, Mr. Lamada.
Absolutely.
Bye,
I just feel like we could go on forever. But yeah, no, thank you so much. And well, hopefully as we are opening up soon, well, I don't know if you want the games to be back, the racquetball games to be back, or if you want
I'm good. No, I'm good. I can't wait to see my friends again.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. No, this has been great. Well, everybody that joined in today, thank you for joining in. And remember, too, that you can find Storytime back on our recordings. Do check it out. Here, we had amazing time. And of course, Shawn did amazing work. Please go back and check the technique. See if you can try it yourself at home. But this has been Storytime for today. And we're going to end right here and just say thank you. I wish you nothing but the very best where you are. Nothing but love. Please remember that you play a part. Every little thing that you do counts to making this world a better place. Not just for you, but for everybody. Even what seems like a simple flower, a simple thought is something that definitely gets us thinking and challenges us to be amazing people, better people, one step at a time. Thank you for joining me. Much love from me. And of course, the amazing Shawn Harris here today. We'll see you again on Storytime tomorrow with another guest here from Chronicle Books who'll be here, who've been supporting Storytime from day one. And we're glad that we were here to celebrate their spring releases, including the one that we just read today. So go back and check it out. Please pre-order and find it in all workplaces you buy your books. Thank you so much. Much love. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing